She wanted the men, the money, the fame, the enjoyment, and the Slay Queen life. But she hated the 3 beautiful babies she was blessed with. It was dark, windy, and very cold outside as she carried the little triplets. They cried out, but nobody came. She carried them to the road as her Yahoo boyfriend sat in the car behind her, ordering her to throw away her bundle of joys. What she didn't know was that there was a promise. He had promised to give her something she felt was more precious than 3 innocent lives. But something even worse happened. Before I reveal what happened, I must warn you, this story will break your heart first, before fixing it with hope and excitements you will not see coming. As Tasha dropped the children in the dark, scary road with nobody to care for them, no one to feed or keep them safe, she held her boyfriend David. I'm so happy those tiny brats are out of my way, always crying and interrupting my night outs, Tasha said passionately. Yes, my love. In this bag, everything you want is inside, David replied with a smile as he held her waist. They were now together at last without disturbance. What kind of mother would abandon her little babies, you may ask? Well, stick around and find out. As Tasha and David drove off, leaving the babies all alone on the road, something dark happened. A group of kidnappers were passing by. Omo, we no see any client today, oh. Street dry, one of them said. I swear, I need quick cash now. Anybody that leaves their belongings now, I'll take it. Another replied as they laughed and clapped. Then suddenly, they turned and saw the helpless little triplets on the cold floor, unaware of the danger before them. One of the kidnappers, called Spider, laughed out loud as he pointed at the babies. Today is our lucky day, oh. Carry them fast. But another raised suspicion. I beg, calm down. Who be that woman way go leave their Pekin here? It's not possible, nah. Outside under rain. You know, go be thankful we have seen free thing now. We can sell these ones for millions. One of them said, already salivating at the thought. They all agreed to take the babies, 2 boys and 1 girl, 3 beautiful triplets. They planned to do evil. As they bent down to pick the babies, their cries grew louder, but they did not care. They carried them strongly from the ground and started walking away, but not too far from where they picked up the triplets. One of them complained of headache. My head is paining me, oh, he shouted. Before the other could respond, he held his throat. What's happening to us right now? I don't understand. What is all this? They shook in fear. The other fell to the ground, his legs weakened. He held the baby confused. The babies continued to cry as their bodies trembled. It's these babies. They're witches. Evil spirits. Let's go, they shouted as they ran off, leaving the babies behind on the ground. Now the babies were left all alone again, under the rain at night, in even more danger. They cried from hunger and cold with nobody to save them. But let's take a moment to appreciate the power of God and how they were saved. However, not for too long, because something was coming for these innocent, abandoned babies. Something that would leave you completely shocked. This is the story of Tasha, a Lagos slay queen who abandoned her newborn triplets because of a big nylon bag. How did it all come to this? What truly happened that led Tasha to get pregnant and even abandon her 3 babies? Tasha was a Lagos big girl who entertained many Lagos politicians and big boys. She had many followers on Instagram. She flew to different countries weekly, until she found out she was 7 months pregnant. It was an ectopic pregnancy she did not see coming at all, and it was already past the abortion date. What do you mean I'm pregnant? She cried to the doctor. Yes, ma, you have bouncy, beautiful, strong babies in your belly, the doctor said with a smile. Tasha's heart immediately sank as she heard the plural word. Wait, babies? You mean 2 babies? The doctors laughed. Ma, not 2 but 3 beautiful babies, 2 boys and 1 girl. Immediately, Tasha fainted. The doctors and nurses had to rush her into an emergency CS, as she had suffered a heart attack from the news. When Tasha woke up, she looked at the 3 crying, freshly born babies. The doctors were indeed not lying. She had been pregnant all through her travels and partying. Luckily for her, the kids were safe and sound, but she didn't want to have anything to do with them. Before she could even hide the news and opt for an adoption, the paparazzi was all over. Slay Queen gives birth to triplets. It was all over the news. All the men who had admired and spent money on her before ran away, avoiding any responsibility. Only one man stayed behind, David. He was known to be rich, but nobody knew his true source of income. That day he came to her house and looked at the babies. They are healthy, beautiful babies, he said. inspecting them closely like a lion ready to devour. Well, I don't care about them. They are ruining my life. Do you know how many brand deals and bad boy clients I would have gotten by now if I wasn't cursed with these smelly babies? I'm not interested in breastfeeding and catering to them. I'm going out tonight, Tasha said angrily. That night she went out and had the time of her life. She partied with her girlfriends until something happened. The nanny she had hired called her. Madam, I can take care of the babies, but they need their mother. I gave them food, but they won't stop crying. I can't do this, please. I resign. That was when Tasha took matters into her own hands. I cannot do this anymore. I will not suffer this rubbish. I'll throw these babies on the street. They ruined my life, she said angrily. Not surprisingly, David leaned closer and said, I have a plan. The plan was set. Tasha was ready to dump her 3 babies by the roadside and pretend they were stolen. But little did she know that those babies would truly be stolen. Not by random kidnappers, but by the only one she trusted, David. David had made a deal with one of the richest men in the country. No one knew what that man did for a living, but every month he demanded a baby. Get me a newborn baby, and I'll give you millions, the man told David. I don't want to get you 1 baby. I want to get you 3 babies. David exclaimed happily. The man smiled grimly. 3 babies? That's impossible. None of my boys have ever done that. If you get them, I'll reward you plenty. And that was the deal. But stupid Tasha did not know, because David promised her a nylon bag, and she never questioned what was inside. Baby, I want to open it. I can feel it's money, plenty money. Tasha smiled in excitement after a steamy night with him. Calm down, babe. When the time is right, I'll show you. At least those babies are out of the way now. I hope you're happy, David said. I am more than happy and grateful. Thank you so much, baby, Tasha replied, excited for her surprise. Little did she know that what was in the bag would not only leave her stupid, but make her feel like the most foolish woman on earth. Meanwhile, back on the streets, the men David had sent finally came and saw the babies. The evil man called Scar pointed at them. Carry them. Let's go. They lifted the babies. Nothing happened. Their eyes and legs were fine. The babies stopped crying and slept off in the car, tired from hunger and the rain. When they got to Scar's home, a huge tall mansion with iron gates, Scar carried the babies into a forbidden room. He placed the triplets on the table and smiled grimly. My gods, I have brought not 1 baby today but 3. 3 newborn, strong babies for you, Scar said with a wide smile. There was silence as blood began to fill a pot. Scar grinned. He was going to get more money than ever before. But then a pause. A loud voice spoke. These babies are not ready yet. You will keep them in your house for a while before we can feast. Scar froze in confusion. That meant no money, and now he had to care for the babies until they were ready. What was so special about them? He wondered. But he had been tasked with responsibility now. How could a cold-blooded ritualist handle 3 babies? And what future awaited these innocent children? Not only had they been abandoned, but now they were in the hands of someone who would hurt them. Tasha was lying lazily on her luxury bed when her phone rang. It was David. She smiled immediately, her voice dripping with sweetness as she picked. Baby, she said softly. David's voice came calm but deep. Have you been loyal to me, Tasha? Have you kept that bag I gave you? She froze for a moment, then laughed. Of course, baby. I've not even opened it. I've been waiting for you to tell me when. David chuckled. Good girl. Now open it. Her eyes widened. Now. Yes, he whispered. You've been loyal, and I love that for you. It's time. Her heart raced. She jumped up from the bed, ran to the wardrobe where the bag had been sitting for months untouched, and placed it on the bed. Her hands trembled with excitement as she unzipped it. What she saw made her scream with joy. Bundles upon bundles of cash, neatly wrapped, stacked so high that she couldn't even see the bottom of the bag. Oh my God, baby. 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 This is too much. Thank you. Thank you. She screamed, rolling on the bed, hugging the cash like it was her own child. Her heart pounded as she imagined the designer bags, the wigs, the diamonds, the trips. She grabbed the money and danced around the room. But in her excitement, she didn't realize what was coming would leave her completely devastated. The next day, Tasha dressed like royalty. A red wig, diamond earrings, her curves hugged by a silk bodycon dress. She strutted into one of the biggest shopping malls in Lagos, head held high. The attendants looked at her, whispering, "Isn't that the famous Slay Queen?" She's back again. Tasha walked to the luxury counter where they displayed Birkin bags. She slammed a stack of cash on the counter. I want this one. The red Birkin. Wrap it for me. The shop girl's eyes widened at the sight of so much money. She called her manager quickly. They began counting the bundles. Tasha smiled proudly, already picturing herself posting the bag on Instagram. But suddenly, the manager's face changed. Excuse me, Ma, she said slowly. Where did you get this money? Tasha frowned. What do you mean? It's my money. Wrap my bag, please. The manager sighed deeply, then whispered. This is counterfeit. Fake money. The world around Tasha froze. What? What do you mean fake? Ma, this is counterfeit. Whoever gave you this money defrauded you. If we report this to the police, you will be in very big trouble. Tasha staggered backward, her vision blurring. Her legs almost gave way. She clutched the counter, staring at the bundles that just yesterday had made her feel like a queen. Now, they were nothing but useless paper. Her phone buzzed. A text message from David. She opened it with trembling hands. It read, Enjoy your shopping, my love. Hope you like your money. I'll be unreachable for a while. Her scream echoed through the mall. The moment the words, fake money, left the manager's lips at the boutique, Tasha's entire body went weak. She screamed so loudly that shoppers turned to stare. She stumbled, fell flat on the ground, her wig almost sliding off her head. No, 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 this cannot be true. She cried. The attendants tried to calm her down, but she pushed them off. With trembling hands, she gathered the bundles of money back into the bag, her mascara running down her face as she staggered out of the mall. She threw herself into her car, slammed the door, and sped off like a madwoman. She arrived at the bank and saw the long queue. But Tasha was not patient. She barged straight to the front, yelling hysterically, Please, somebody help me. I need to see the manager. Right now. The security men tried to hold her back, but her voice was too loud, too desperate. Within minutes, the branch manager, a tall, elegant woman in a navy blue suit, rushed out. What's going on here? The manager asked. Tasha ran to her, dropped the bag at her feet, and clung to her arm. Please, please help me. They said this money is fake. I just need you to tell me it's not true. Please, please check it. I beg you, madam. The manager frowned and ordered the staff to count and inspect the money. The entire bank grew quiet, all eyes on Tasha as tears streamed down her face. Minutes later, the manager returned. Her expression was grave. She pushed the money gently back toward Tasha. I'm sorry, Ma. This is counterfeit. Every single note here is fake. The words struck Tasha like a thunderbolt. She let out a wail that shook the banking hall, collapsing to her knees. No, David wouldn't do this to me. He wouldn't. She scrambled for her phone, with shaking fingers and dialed David's number. Once, twice, thrice. The number you are trying to call is not reachable at the moment. Lie? It's a lie, she screamed, throwing the phone against the floor. She grabbed her head, rocking back and forth, whispering to herself. This is not real. This is a prank. He's joking with me. He's just testing my loyalty. Yes, that's it. It's just a prank. David loves me. He promised me. He'll come back. He'll explain everything. Her voice cracked as she laughed nervously, her mind slipping deeper into denial. But inside her heart, she felt the truth clawing, an unbearable truth. She had abandoned her babies. She had chosen money over them. And now even the money wasn't real. Scar, the old rich ritualist, had taken the babies into his mansion. He believed he had struck gold because unlike other ritual sacrifices, these 3 babies were special. The gods had spoken to him clearly. They were not ordinary. They had to be kept until the right time, until they were ripe enough for the gods to take their lives and exchange them for wealth, power, and more years of Scar's evil reign. So he waited. But Scar could not raise the children himself. He was too old, too cruel, too busy with his dark practices. He brought in a poor woman, Caramel, to do the work. Caramel was a kind-hearted woman, simple, humble, and gentle. She had nothing, but she had love, and so she gave all her love to the children. She fed them when they cried, held them close when they were sick, and whispered prayers over them at night. Still, she always knew something was wrong in that house. Scar never allowed her to enter some parts of the mansion. At night, strange chants would echo. The smell of blood would sometimes drift through the air. She stayed because of the children, because no one else would care for them if she left. One night, when the triplets had grown into toddlers, Caramel could not hold back her curiosity. She tiptoed toward Scar's forbidden room. As she opened the door, her eyes widened in terror. Scar stood in the center, surrounded by candles, blood, and a pot. His hands raised as he made incantations. He was calling to the gods, preparing the children's souls for sacrifice. Caramel froze. Her body shook. She knew then that every suspicion was true. If she stayed one more day, these children would die. She turned back, her heart racing. Without waiting for dawn, she packed what little she could. She grabbed the 3 toddlers, held them close, and ran out of the house. Her feet pounded the cold ground. She did not know where she was going. She did not know who would help her. All she knew was she had to escape. The children cried softly in her arms, but she kept running. Caramel was just a poor lady. She had nothing, no family, no wealth. And now she was on the run with 3 children who had already suffered so much. What would be their fate? Who would find them? What would become of the triplets now that they were in the world again? Hunted by Scar, and still unwanted by the woman who birthed them? Their story was only beginning. Caramel was now homeless, with 3 babies that were not even her own. She could have left them. She could have pretended not to see Scar's evil. But something in her heart would not let her abandon them. A poor woman, empty-handed. Yet she wrapped those children with the only wealth she had, her love. It was almost poetic, the way destiny works. Their true mother, Tasha, was somewhere in Lagos under bright lights, clubs, cameras, and fame. A woman who had everything the world could give, but could not lift her hand to feed her own children. While Caramel, who had nothing but rags and hunger, chose to love and protect them as though they were her blood. She struggled bitterly. Days passed with hunger, nights passed with tears. But she decided in her heart, if these children are to survive, then I will survive with them. She found a small corner by the roadside and set up a wooden table. With borrowed money and her little sweat, she began to sell bowl, fried fish, and plantain. That was how she kept the children alive. She named them herself, like a mother who had birthed them. The little girl, she called Amara, Grace. The first boy, she called Uche, the will of the mind. The last boy, she called Chi, God. And as though their names carried power, the children grew strong. Years passed, and by the time they turned 5, they were healthy and playful. Their laughter filled the air around the roadside mama put. They ran barefoot, carrying small trays, sometimes helping their mother Caramel serve roasted plantain to customers. They were not rich, but they were rich in joy. Caramel worked from dawn till dusk, her hands darkened by smoke from the firewood, her clothes heavy with the smell of roasted fish. But her heart was full because the triplets were growing. Every coin she earned went into their feeding, their schooling, their clothes. She had nothing left for herself, but she smiled when she saw them sleep in peace at night. She struggled with her own sweat to raise them. No rich man came to buy her bowl and change her life. No billionaire appeared with pity or favor. She was their blessing. Her hard work was their miracle. And so the years carried them forward. From 5 to 7 to 10. Amara grew into a graceful young girl with wisdom beyond her years. Helping her mother in the kitchen, Uche became strong and bold, always defending his siblings from the street bullies. And she, the quiet one, had a spark in his eyes as though God himself whispered to him. Caramel watched them with pride. Even though her bones ached and her pockets stayed empty, she had raised them with nothing but grit, love, and faith. And still, life was only beginning to test them. Caramel had raised them with her bare hands, her sweat, her tears. Amara, Uche, and Chi were no longer little children. They were now strong teenagers, 16, almost 18, tall, vibrant, full of life. The bowl stand still smoked every evening with firewood, the smell of fried fish and roasted plantain filling the air. But Caramel's body was no longer as strong as it once was. Her smile hid her pain, and her bones carried an unseen weight. One hot afternoon, as the fire crackled and fish sizzled on the pan, her strength gave way. The spatula dropped from her hand, and with a heavy thud, she collapsed on the ground. Oil spilled, the smoke rose, and cries filled the air. "Mother! Mama Caramel!" The 3 teenagers screamed as they rushed to her side. They carried her gently into their small hut, their eyes wide with fear. Caramel looked at them through weak tears. My children, my babies. My heart has been heavy. I have been sick for long. It is something I cannot fight. Cancer has been eating me slowly. She sobbed as she held their hands. If tomorrow I do not wake, live well. Be good children. Let your lives shine brighter than mine. No, Amara cried, shaking her head. Don't say that. You are our mother. You are all we have. We will take care of you, Mama. We will never let you go. Uche's voice broke as he whispered. We don't care if you gave birth to us or not. You are our blood, Mama. You are our mother. Chi pressed his forehead against her arm, silent tears falling. They decided they would not lose her. They ran out, searching desperately for help. On the road, they bumped into a woman sitting by the corner. Dirty, her clothes torn, her eyes hollow. She was begging for alms. The woman turned, and her eyes widened in shock. Her lips trembled. No, it cannot be. She pulled herself to her feet, staring at the three. Her heart pounded. She recognized them, the curve of Amara's jaw, the shape of Uche's eyes, the small scar on Chi's neck from birth. My children, Tasha whispered, her voice breaking. My babies, it's me. I am your mother. The triplets froze. Then Amara shook her head in disgust. We don't have a mother. The woman you see on that sickbed is our mother. You are nothing to us. Tasha reached out, sobbing. No, don't say that. I made mistakes, but I'm still your mother. Come to me, forgive me. Uche pulled his siblings away. You left us to die? Stay away from us. They walked on, leaving her screaming in the road. Tasha's body shook. In her mind, rage began to grow. If they would not come to her willingly, then she would take them by force. Kidnap them if she had to. She would not allow another woman to claim her children. Far away, another story was unfolding. There was a wealthy bachelor in town, a man whose wife had died years ago, leaving him lonely, bitter, and without taste for food. But every week, his boy would travel across towns, just to buy bowl and fish from one woman, Madame Caramel. Her cooking was the only taste that ever satisfied him again. That day, the boy returned empty-handed. Master, I could not find her. The bowl woman is gone. The man's brows furrowed. Gone? What do you mean gone? That woman's food is the only thing that has kept me alive these years. He rose from his seat, pacing. No, I must find her. I don't care what it takes. I must know what happened to that woman. Search for her. Tell me where she is. His heart burned with curiosity. He did not know why, but he felt that his life was tied to this caramel in a way he could not explain. And so two storms gathered. The storm of a billionaire desperate to find Caramel, and the storm of Tasha, the entitled mother, willing to do anything, even kidnap, to drag back the children she once abandoned. What would you do if you were in the shoes of these triplets? Would you forgive the woman who threw you away, or hold on to the one who suffered to raise you? And what exactly will happen when the billionaire finds Madame Caramel? What does he want from her? Is it only her food, or something much deeper? Stay tuned to see how these triplets, who were abandoned on the road, grew to become something great. And if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do. And share this with your story lover friends. The hospital lights were white and sharp. Machines hummed. Caramel lay on the bed, weak but finally breathing easier. Tubes running into her arms. The triplets sat by her side, their eyes red from tears, their hands clinging to hers as if letting go would mean losing her forever. The billionaire stood quietly at the foot of the bed, his face unreadable, but inside, his heart was heavy. He had paid every bill, signed every check, demanded the best doctors, and for the first time in years, he felt that maybe his money had finally been used for something meaningful. But peace never lasts long. The door opened, and there she was, Tasha. Her once glamorous life had stripped her bare. Her makeup was smeared, her wig tilted, her eyes desperate. She fell to her knees before the triplets. My children. Her voice cracked. Please forgive me. I made mistakes. I was young, foolish, blinded by fame and money. But you are mine. You are my blood. I won't let another woman take you from me. Amara stood up, trembling with rage. No, you didn't love us when we were helpless. You left us on the road to die. Now that you see us growing, now you want to call us your children? No, we already have a mother. And she is lying right here. She pointed to Caramel. Tasha's face twisted. For a moment, she wept bitterly, but in her heart, another voice was louder. If they will not come willingly, I will take them by force. Then, in a burst of rage, she screamed. Fine. If you won't come to me, then I will deal with you. You are my children whether you like it or not, and I have men waiting to carry you. Watch your backs." The triplets froze in fear, but another voice cut through the room. Deep, calm, dangerous. "Do you realize you're threatening these children in my presence?" Everyone turned. The billionaire had stepped forward, his gaze locked on Tasha. Tasha wiped her tears, defiant. "And what will you do? You can't stop me. They are mine." He stepped closer, towering over her. "Actually, I can, because I have the resources to protect them. And you, madam, have just confessed to a crime." He turned his head slightly, and within seconds, uniformed police officers who had been stationed outside walked in. "Take her away." "No, no, they are my babies." Tasha screamed as she kicked and fought, but the officers dragged her out, her voice echoing through the corridors until it was swallowed by silence. The triplets huddled closer to Caramel. Their eyes searched her pale face, their hearts heavy with fear. The billionaire placed a hand on Amara's shoulder. "She will be safe now. Your mother will not hurt you again. Focus on this one, the woman who gave you life in a different way." But the machine still beeped. Caramel's chest still rose slowly, painfully. The doctors shook their heads uncertainly. And so the question lingered like smoke in the air. Would Caramel survive this sickness and see the children she fought for grow? Or was fate ready to claim her at last? In the hospital room, the billionaire stood tall, his suit pressed, his voice deep but kind. His name was Mr. Obina, a man known across the nation for wealth, but whose heart had been quiet and lonely for many years. He looked at the triplets with steady eyes. "You three are brilliant," he said softly. "I can see it already. Come and work in my company. You will begin as interns, but if I see that you work well, I will promote you. I will pay you salaries higher than you have ever seen in your life." The triplets' mouths opened in shock. Millions? More money than they had ever dreamed of? They nodded eagerly, tears of joy filling their eyes. But even in their happiness, their hearts were still tied to the hospital bed, still tied to Madame Caramel, their true mother. Days passed. They worked. They learned. They earned more than they had ever held in their hands. And one afternoon, their phones rang with a call that made them run faster than they had ever run in their lives. "Come quickly, Madame Caramel." They burst into the hospital ward, and there she was, eyes opening slowly, her lips curving into a smile, her hands trembling as she stretched them toward her children. "My babies," she whispered. "Mama," they shouted, tears streaming, falling on their knees by her bedside. She was getting better. She was coming back to them. In that moment, Obina stood watching. His heart beat fast. Then he stepped forward, bent his knees to the ground, and spoke words no one expected. "Caramel, I don't know your full story. I don't know all your past. But I know this. You raised these children when they were not your own. You gave your sweat when you had nothing. That is proof enough of the kind of woman you are. I lost my wife many years ago, and I thought love was gone. But when I look at you, I see hope again. I want to build something with you. I want to love you. I want to love these children with you. Will you walk with me into a new life?" Caramel's eyes filled with tears. She was speechless, shocked, overwhelmed. Finally, she nodded. "Yes. Let's see where this path takes us." "Yes." The triplets screamed in joy. They laughed. They hugged. They teased their mother as she blushed in her hospital bed. For the first time in their lives, the future looked golden. Months passed. The triplets were no longer poor street children. They were young adults earning high salaries in Obina's company, growing in wisdom and wealth. Caramel, now strong and radiant, wore a shining ring on her finger. She was engaged to the billionaire who loved her. As for Tasha, the slay queen, she remained behind prison walls, her fame and beauty gone, her heart eaten by regret. And David, the man who had first betrayed her, lived recklessly until one night. In a dark club, poison found him. His story ended as fast as he had lived. And so the curtain closed. From abandoned babies on a roadside, to a family reborn through love, sacrifice, and destiny. A mother is not always the one who gives birth. Sometimes, a mother is the one who stays, who sacrifices, who protects when no one else will. And every evil done in greed will one day come back empty. But love never fails. If you were touched by this story, don't forget to subscribe for more emotional and life-changing stories. Share this with your friends who love powerful stories. And stay tuned. because more journeys like this are still coming. So, you may have watched the first part of this story, the woman who abandoned her triplets just for fame. But what you don't know is what happened after. Tasha, the slay queen who threw away her own blood, ended up right where she belonged, in prison. Society forgot her, the same way she once forgot those innocent babies. But here's the shocker. Somebody, we don't know who, leaked an intel. And in the middle of the night, Tasha was suddenly released. Now the question is, who is this mysterious person that set Tasha free? And what exactly do they want with her? Because Tasha is back on the streets. And if you think she's broken, think again. This is just the beginning. Before we continue this story, I must warn you, what you're about to hear will shock you. There will be twists you never saw coming. So make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, and let's go deeper. The triplets today. Liars have passed. Amara, Chi, and Uche, the children Tasha abandoned, are no longer babies. They are powerful young adults shaping their own destinies under the wings of Obinna, the billionaire who raised them. Amara is grace and ambition combined. She's engaged to Obinna's nephew, and their wedding is already the talk of the elite circles. A woman who once had nothing now stands as a bride-to-be, dripping in the wealth her fake mother could never give her. She has become one of the youngest executives in Obinna's billion-dollar empire. Confident, sharp, respected, he carries Caramel's humility, but also Obinna's fierce business drive. At only 22, his signature is enough to move millions. Uche carved his own path. Instead of staying under Obinna, he co-founded a fast-rising tech company that is already making waves across Africa. Independent, brilliant, and admired, he is on the verge of becoming a billionaire in his own right. These triplets are not just surviving. They are blossoming. They are living proof that destiny cannot be buried. But here's what they don't know. Their real mother is free. And she is coming. Sure, you're asking yourself right now, where is Caramel? The one who carried the triplets through thick and thin. The one who sacrificed her life for them when no one else would. Well, I'll let you know very soon. Stay tuned, because when I tell you where Caramel is now, you won't believe it. But first, let's talk about Amara. Amara, the only daughter among the triplets, has blossomed into a stunning and ambitious young woman. She has sealed countless deals, built her name in the business world, and captured the heart of Chris, Obinna's handsome, kind-hearted nephew. Their love story is one that money could never buy. And now, they are planning the wedding of the century. Chris leaned back in the plush chair, scrolling through his phone with a thoughtful look. Amara, he said softly, do you think we should have this wedding on a yacht? Or should we do it in Dubai? Amara laughed, brushing her fingers against his arm. I don't know, Chris. Maybe something closer to home. I want it beautiful, but not too far away from family. Chris smiled, pulling her closer. Don't worry. We'll fly everyone out, first class. Your comfort is all that matters to me. We can save, we can transfer, anything to make this the dream wedding you deserve. Amara's eyes glistened. Just a few years ago, she was a girl who had nothing, a girl forgotten by her own mother. Now here she was, sitting beside a billionaire's heir, discussing yachts and Dubai weddings like it was nothing. Isn't life incredible? The girl who once struggled to survive is now swimming in luxury, living the very dream her mother threw away. But Amara isn't the only one shining. Life has also gone wonderfully for her siblings. And what about them? Let's move on to the other two triplets. Now, let's move on to the next star among the triplets, Chi. Chi has grown into a confident, sharp, and visionary young man. Unlike his sister Amara, who found love and luxury through marriage, Chi found his identity in business. Obinna is no longer the strong man he once was. Age has slowed him down, but where his strength faded, Chi rose up. In a sprawling luxury home, Obinna and Chi sat across from each other in the study. The table between them gleamed under the chandelier's golden light. A bottle of vintage wine sat open, and their glasses clinked softly as they toasted. Obinna leaned back, his deep voice calm but commanding. Chi, this new deal is worth over 3 billion naira. I cannot attend these meetings like I used to, but I trust you. You've been handling my empire for years now, and you have never failed me. Chi smiled humbly, yet his eyes carried the fire of ambition. Uncle, you gave me a chance when nobody believed in me. I won't let you down. Not now. Not ever. Obinna nodded, pride glowing in his aged eyes. I know. You've already proven yourself. From the boy who once struggled with nothing, to the man who now commands billions. You are the future. Chi, my legacy is safe in your hands. Can you imagine? A boy who once had no mother, no name, no hope, now sitting in a billionaire's mansion, sipping vintage wine, trusted with multi-billion naira deals. Chi's life is proof that destiny can turn pain into power. But wait, there's still one more triplet left, and his path is completely different. Up next, Uche. And now, let's move on to the last of the triplets, Uche. Uche once worked side by side with his brother Chi under Obina's empire. But Uche's vision was different. He had a fire burning inside him, a dream to build something of his own. It started as an idea on paper, a way to support people who were ignored by society. From there, he built a startup. Not so small. In fact, it grew into one of the fastest rising companies in the country. Today, Uche's company is worth billions. And every single day, millions of naira flow into his accounts. But that is not what makes him great. What makes Uche different is what he does with it. The camera follows Uche, dressed in a sleek tailored suit, as he steps into his company headquarters. The lobby is full of energy, but not just from employees in suits and ties. Here, you see people who would have never been given a chance elsewhere. Single mothers, disabled workers, former street hawkers, boys who once washed cars in the hot sun. And Uche greets them like family. Good morning, boss. They echo as he walks in. He pauses when he sees a woman standing shyly by the reception desk. She's beautiful, but her eyes carry the weight of struggle. For children depend on her. And she almost lost hope, until Uche's company gave her a job. Uche walks up to her gently. How are you today, he asks. Tears fill her eyes. Sir, I don't know how to thank you. Before this job, my children and I had nothing. Now, at least, they eat. They even go to school. God will bless you. Uche smiles and places a reassuring hand on her shoulder. You don't owe me thanks. Just do your work well. Your children's future is the real reward. He continues walking, and then a young boy runs up to him. A boy no older than 18. Boss, boss, the boy shouts excitedly. I just finished my first training session in IT. Can you believe it? Just last year, I was washing cars on the street. And now I'm learning how to code. Uche stops, looks at him proudly, and says, You see? You're the reason I built this place. Don't ever doubt yourself again. If I can rise, so can you. The boy beams with hope. Uche's company is more than a business. It is a movement. A place where broken lives are rebuilt. Where forgotten souls find a home. Where dreams come alive again. Every day, Uche proves that true wealth is not measured by what you keep, but by how many lives you change. But while Uche was lifting people out of the dirt, far away, Tasha was planning. Yes, the same Tasha who abandoned them. The same Tasha who rotted in prison. Now that she is free, she has only one mission: to ruin everything these children have built. Before we move on to talk about something even more interesting, I ask you this question, my audience. Which of the triplet story do you find more enticing? Is it Amara's love story, Chi's takeover of the company, or Uche's foundation for helping people? And now, let's move on to the one person who made all this possible. The woman who did it all. The woman who carried them when nobody else did. The woman who sacrificed everything for Amara, Chi, and Uche. Let's talk about Caramel. And now, this is Caramel. The woman who gave everything for the triplets. The woman who held them when no one else would. Today, she is no longer the struggling young lady you once saw. She is radiant, joyful, and living in luxury. But wait, who is this little child with her? This is Chioma. Yes, Chioma, Caramel's own daughter. A miracle child. It wasn't easy for Caramel to give birth. In fact, doctors once said it might never happen. Her health was weak, her body weary from years of sacrifice. But God had the final say. Obina, the billionaire who stood by her through everything, married her, and their love became the foundation of something greater. Against all odds, Caramel carried a child. And in the glow of that blessing, Chioma was born. Chioma is now 4 years old, full of life, laughter, and innocence. She has grown up in the warmth of love and abundance, with a mother who taught her kindness and a father who gave her the world. Caramel sits in a sunlit garden, sipping tea, her eyes watching a little girl running barefoot on the soft grass. Chioma twirls, her laughter ringing like music. Mommy, catch me if you can, she shouts. her giggles echoing across the yard. Caramel rises with a smile, her gown flowing as she runs after her daughter. She finally scoops Chioma into her arms, and the child hugs her tightly. "Mommy," Chioma whispers, "you're the best mommy in the world." Caramel kisses her forehead. "No, my love. You are my miracle. You're the reason my life is complete." The two laugh together, locked in a moment of pure joy. Caramel has everything she once prayed for. A husband who loves her. A daughter who is her miracle. A life that glitters with blessings. But while Caramel and Chioma laugh in their garden, out there, in the shadows, Tasha is free. And she is not alone. Somewhere, watching from a distance, is a mysterious man whose face nobody knows. What does he want? Why did he help Tasha escape prison? And how long before he strikes? Because while Caramel's world shines with happiness, darkness is moving closer. Now I know you're asking yourself, who is it? Who is the mysterious man that released Tasha from prison? Can you guess? Let me remind you. Do you still remember that night, years ago, when David sent a man, the ritualist, the one who kidnapped the triplets on the road? Yes, that same man. He's back. After all these years, he has returned for the triplets. And now, he has teamed up with Tasha. Tasha's heart is poisoned. At first, when she came out of prison, she wanted to claim her children. She wanted to parade them around as if she had been the one who raised them, to polish her image, to call herself mother. But the triplets, Amara, Chi, and Uche, rejected her. They turned their backs on her lies. Because how could they forget the woman who abandoned them for fake money? And so Tasha made a dark decision. If she couldn't have them, then no one would. To her, it was better that they died than live a life that constantly reminded her of her shame. Because everywhere she went, people whispered, "That's the slay queen who abandoned her children." She could not bear the humiliation. So she chose blood. But the ritualist is not just any man. He is bound by something darker. Long ago, the gods gave him an order: deliver those triplets, or pay with his life. Even in his old age, his body weak and frail, the curse still burns. If he fails to sacrifice them, his own soul will be dragged into eternal torment. That is why he has resurfaced. That is why he joined hands with Tasha. For him, it is not about revenge. It is survival. And now, for the first time, Tasha and the ritualist have become allies. One fueled by shame, the other by fear of the gods. Together, they have set their eyes on the triplets. And their mission is clear: destroy everything Amara, Chi, Uche, and even Caramel have built. The night is heavy. Owls cry in the distance as Tasha is ushered into the ritualist's mansion, an eerie compound filled with strange carvings and ancient symbols. The ritualist, frail yet terrifying, sits on a high wooden chair, his eyes glowing faintly in the firelight. He raises his hand, inviting Tasha closer. "Sit, Tasha. You know why I called you." Tasha sits across from him, her posture proud, her face calm but dangerous. The ritualist's voice is low, gravelly, but sharp like a blade. "All this." He gestures around at his wealth, the mansion, the treasures. "All of it will vanish if I do not deliver those triplets. The gods warn me. My life, my riches, my power, all gone." Tasha folds her arms. "And so you need me." He leans forward, his wrinkled face close to hers. "Yes, but I must ask you something. I am an evil man, I won't deny it. But I'm not so wicked that I would kill my own blood. Tell me, Tasha, what is your motivation? Why do you want them gone?" Tasha smirks, her eyes cold. "Motivation? I've always liked to win. I tried to take them back. I tried to call myself their mother. But they rejected me, embarrassed me. So if they won't give me the respect I deserve, then I won't let them have happiness. If I can't shine, they can't either." The ritualist studies her for a long moment. And then, suddenly, he bursts out laughing. The sound echoes through the dark mansion. "Ha ha ha, you are colder than I imagined." He wipes a tear from his eye, still grinning. "Fine, let's cooperate. You want them gone, and I need them gone. Together, we will finish this." He extends his hand. Tasha grips it firmly. And in that moment, an unholy alliance is sealed. Two forces, one driven by shame, the other by a curse. And now, the triplets' greatest enemies have joined hands. Obinna the billionaire, the man whose name once commanded power and respect, had fallen gravely ill. The strong man who carried empires on his shoulders could no longer rise from his bed. Doctors moved in and out of the room, but their faces carried no assurance. They told the family they would give him the best treatment money could buy. But deep inside, everyone knew that money alone could not guarantee his life. And that was the painful truth. Funny how he was the one who once saved them all. The man who gave abandoned children a home. The man who made Caramel a queen. And yet, here he was, fragile and fading, while those he had lifted now clung to him, praying not to lose him. Caramel never left his side. She held his hand so tightly, it was as though her grip alone could keep him alive. Beside her sat little Chioma, only 4 years old, staring at her father with innocent eyes. "Mommy," she whispered, "when will Daddy play with me again?" Caramel kissed her forehead, forcing back tears, but she had no answer. The triplets stood nearby, their faces heavy with grief. Amara prayed silently, her engagement ring catching the light as she clasped her hands. She lowered his head and whispered, "God, please, not now." Uche, who always tried to be the strong one, broke down completely, his tears wetting Obina's arm as he begged him to fight. The room was filled with sobs, hope, and despair. When the doctor returned, he spoke softly. "We will give him the best care possible, but only God decides the outcome. Money cannot buy life." His words left the family shattered. The house that once rang with laughter now echoed with mourning. Do you think Obina would survive? Or was this to be the end of the man who once saved everyone else? Far away, while the family wept, another scene was unfolding. Tasha and the ritualist were planning. Their whispers were venom, their eyes filled with schemes. Because while Obina lay weak in his bed, his enemies were already preparing the strike that could destroy everything he had built. Tasha gripped the cold, heavy gun tighter. Yes, a gun. She had stormed out into the night, her footsteps wild, her mind boiling with rage. The ritualist was too slow, too cautious. He had kept telling her, "Not yet. The gods have not shown me the right time." But Tasha had no patience, no strategy, no shame left in her body. So she took matters into her own hands. Her plan was simple: go straight to the house, find the triplets, and shoot them. She had confronted the ritualist in his dark chamber. "When?" she snapped, pacing like a trapped beast. "When will it happen? You keep saying the gods. The gods, the gods. Enough of that. I want them gone now." The ritualist's hollow voice echoed against the clay walls. "You don't rush the gods, woman. If I strike too early, I lose my power. I lose everything. The signs must align. Only then can I take them." Tasha's lips curled with fury. "You are a coward, sitting here waiting for signs while those children live like kings and queens. I cannot take it anymore. I cannot stand to watch them laugh while the world mocks me." He shook his head and dismissed her with one word: patience. But Tasha was done waiting. That same night she disappeared. She found her way to a hidden dealer. Money exchanged hands. Whispers passed like shadows. And before dawn, she carried a fully loaded gun. And as she walked under the cover of night, her muttering cut the silence like broken glass. "If I can't have them, nobody will. They will not embarrass me. They will not parade my shame. Better they die by my hand than live to disgrace me." And so, there she was. Tasha, once a slay queen, now a shadow in the night. A gun in her hand, hatred in her heart. The ritualist had waited for rituals, chants, and sacrifices. But Tasha had chosen bullets. The family had just returned from the hospital. Their clothes still smelled faintly of antiseptic, their eyes heavy from hours of crying and waiting. Caramel rocked little Chioma gently. The child's voice was soft, innocent. "Mommy." Caramel forced a trembling smile, pressing a kiss to her daughter's hair. "Yes, my love. He will be fine." But the silence in her eyes said otherwise. Across the room, the triplets gathered. Amara wiped her face with trembling hands. "I can't take this anymore," she sobbed. "What if we lose him?" She stepped forward, voice steady though his eyes were red. "We won't lose him. Do you hear me? He's strong. He raised us. He won't leave us now. We just have to believe." Uche nodded, pacing the room like a caged lion. "She is right. We've come too far. We won't break now. Not when he needs us most." For a moment, hope flickered. They clung to each other, broken but united. Then, bang, the front door crashed open, wood splintering against the walls. A shadow stormed into the house, and before anyone could process, gunfire erupted. Bang, bang, bang. Bullets shredded the air. Glass shattered. Screams split the silence. Caramel threw herself over Chioma, shielding her tiny body. "Get down," Uche roared, dragging Amara to the floor as sparks flew from broken furniture. Chi's voice cut through the chaos. "Who is that? What's happening?" The figure stepped fully into the light, and their hearts froze. It was Tasha, their own mother. Her eyes were wild, her face twisted with rage. The gun in her hand spat fire again and again, drowning the room in terror. Imagine it. A mother who once birthed them, now returning not with love, not with mercy, but with bullets. The family that had been mourning. Obina's sickness now stared death in the face. Not from strangers, but from blood. The question was, would anyone make it out alive? Gun smoke hangs in the air. Tasha stands trembling, the weapon shaking in her hand. Her eyes are bloodshot, her face streaked with tears. "Why?" she screams. "Why did everyone abandon me? Why did the world turn against me? I was mocked. I was called a slay queen. I was left with nothing. And you?" She points the gun at her children, her voice breaking. "You rejected me too." Caramel holds Chioma tightly, her sobs muffled. Amara shakes on the floor, terrified. But Chi steps forward, his voice steady. "Mom, listen to me. You don't have to do this. Put the gun down. We can help you." Uche raises his hand slowly. "We're your children. Killing us won't take away your pain. Please stop this before it's too late." For a moment, silence. Tasha's shoulders shake, the gun slipping in her sweaty palms. Her lips tremble as though she wants to believe them. Then, her voice cracks. No, I can't live with this shame. I can't watch you all be happy while the world laughs at me. I would rather end it myself." Before anyone can reach her, she turns the gun on herself. Bang! Her body jerks, and she stumbles backward. With one last scream, she topples into the pool behind her. The water ripples red under the moonlight. And that was the end of Tasha's life. In the weeks that followed, Obina slowly recovered. His strength returned day by day, and the house that was once filled with sorrow began to ring with laughter again. Amara finally walked down the aisle, her hand in Chris's, her face glowing with joy. Chi stood tall as one of Obina's finest executives. Uche's company soared higher, touching more lives than ever before. Caramel, radiant as ever, held little Chioma's hand as they watched the family blossom. And so it ended. The darkness that once threatened them was buried forever. Obina lived. Amara was married. Chi and Uche thrived. Caramel and Chioma shined. From pain to triumph. From tears to joy. This family lived happily ever after. The ritualist is alive. Yes, alive. After everything, after all the chaos. After the downfall of Tasha, the man they thought had vanished into the shadows was still breathing. And he was back to take what he believed was rightfully his. From the very moment these children were abandoned, they had known no peace. From one storm to another, from one darkness to the next, their lives had been a cycle of survival. And now the question hung over them like a curse. Would they ever be free? Would they ever be safe? If you watch part 1 and part 2, then you already know their evil mother, Tasha, is no more. She ended her own life and sank into the pool of death. But what you do not know is just how powerful the ritualist is, and what his next plans are. Because in him lives the spirit of that wicked mother. Her shame, her rage, her hunger for destruction, it has fused with his curse. His name was NKPI, and he had returned. P had been patient, watching from the shadows. But when he struck like a serpent. His hands were rough as he clutched Amara by the neck, dragging her across the cold floor, her screams echoing through the night. Amara, the daughter of the Triplets, the one who had once walked down the aisle with Obina's nephew Chris, the one who now carried life inside her. Yes, she was heavily pregnant. And that was the exact moment when P chose to strike. At the very point they thought they were safe. How did it come to this? You may ask. Let me take you back. After the death of Tasha, the slay queen mother who abandoned her own children, the Triplets had performed a small ceremony, not for love, not for honor, but simply out of kindness. They laid her memory to rest and moved on with their lives. Amara got married. Uche's foundation grew even larger, touching more lives than ever before. She stayed loyal to Obina, taking care of the empire as its CEO. And a few months later, Joy visited their family. Amara became pregnant. It was news that filled the house with laughter. For the first time, everyone felt the sweetness of peace. Caramel danced. Obina smiled again. Chioma kissed Amara's belly every day. And Chris swore he would protect his wife and unborn child with his life. It was happiness at its purest. But what they did not know was that P had been waiting. The gods had not released him. His debt was still unpaid. And he still needed the triplets. So, just when joy filled their home, just when Amara's pregnancy was celebrated as the first grandchild of the family, P came back for blood. And this time, he would not rest until he had it. P had very much little time left to himself. His body was failing, his hair gray, his hands trembling. But still, he stood in front of the oracle. In that dark red room lit only by flickering flames and surrounded by strange herbs and bones. The air was thick, suffocating, and then the voices began to echo. "Where are the children?" The gods thundered. "We have given you more than ample time, old man. You have not delivered. Where are they? Where are the children?" P's knees buckled as he fell before the shrine. His voice cracked with desperation. "Please, please, I will provide them. Forgive me. I am sorry." The voices roared again, shaking the very walls of the chamber. "You are 70 years old, P. Your time is finished. You need to rest. You need to let go. Why still chase these children? Why cling to life when death is calling your name?" Tears streamed down his wrinkled face as he pounded his fists on the cold floor. "No, no, I refuse. I have not lived long enough. I will not die yet. I want to see 100. I want to see more. I will get those triplets. Do not take me away yet. I will get them. I swear it." His voice shook, but his determination burned. He lifted his head toward the fire, his face twisted with fear and defiance. "Do not doubt me. I will deliver them to you. Just give me more time. I will do it. I will do it." The voices fell silent, leaving the room heavy with dread. The old man rose slowly, wiping his tears, his body frail but his heart clinging desperately to life. Yes, he was old. His bones ached, his back bent, his strength fading. But still, P refused to accept death. Even with the shadow of the grave over him, he wanted more. He wanted to live. And so he walked out into the night, muttering to himself, clutching his staff with trembling hands. His mind repeated one vow, again and again. He would find the triplets. He believed it. He swore it. He lived for it. Meanwhile, back at Obina's castle, the atmosphere was filled with music and laughter. A small ceremony had been arranged, and all the triplets were present, along with Caramel, little Chioma, and of course, Obina himself, who sat watching with a smile, his strength slowly returning. It was Amara's special day, the day she was meant to reveal something beautiful. At one corner of the hall, Uche was busy piling his plate with food. His eyes lit up as he tasted one dish after another, his appetite insatiable. Amara, noticing him, couldn't help but laugh. "Uche," she teased, "stop eating so much. At least save some strength to dance when I reveal my news." Uche grinned, his mouth full. "Ah, sister, you don't understand. I just came back from the village. I must eat now and also pack some for the people I take care of. You know my foundation doesn't sleep. I have mouths to feed." The crowd laughed at his honesty, and even Obina chuckled warmly from his seat. Uche, always the giver, was already gathering small packages of food, wrapping them with care so he could take them to the people waiting under his charity. Then, the music softened, and Amara walked gracefully to the stage. Her husband Chris, Obina's nephew, by her side. They looked radiant, glowing with love as they faced their family and friends. The room erupted in joy. Cheers filled the air, drums rolled, and women broke into dance. Caramel gasped with happiness, her eyes shimmering with tears of pride. Obina, frail yet smiling, raised his hands in blessing. And little Chioma, unable to contain her excitement, ran across the hall shouting, "Auntie Amara! Auntie Amara!" It was a moment of pure joy, a moment of peace, a moment that felt like the beginning of a new chapter for the family. But what they did not know was that in the very same room, hidden beneath the shadows of the crowd, stood P. His body was cloaked in a dark hood, his face covered, his eyes fixed on Amara with a chilling glare. While everyone else danced and laughed, he remained still, watching, studying, planning. The family celebrated new life. But in the heart of the ritualist, there was only death. Few months passed, and Amara's baby bump began to show. She was glowing, every inch of her turning into the picture of a beautiful mother-to-be. Chris spoiled her endlessly. Uche was always protective, and the whole family watched her with pride as the first grandchild slowly grew inside her. One sunny afternoon, Amara, Chris, and Uche decided to go baby shopping. The store was lined with tiny clothes, toys, and shelves stacked with baby items that made Amara's eyes sparkle. The three of them burst into laughter, filling the store with warmth. They kept going from rack to rack, arguing over tiny socks, laughing at the smallest baby shoes. For a moment, everything was perfect. But the truth was, this was the day. This was the moment it all happened. This was where Amara would be taken. And though the audience already knows what's coming, they cannot look away. They need to see how. After an hour of shopping, Amara excused herself. "I'll be right back," she said, adjusting her dress around her bump. "I left something in the car. Don't buy all the baby clothes before I return." Chris smiled and kissed her cheek. "Hurry back, my love." Uche waved from the counter, stuffing bags with baby clothes. "Don't worry, sis. I'll keep him under control." Amara laughed softly and stepped out of the store. Her heels clicked gently against the pavement as she walked toward the car park, her hand absent-mindedly stroking her bump. She was still smiling when she reached the car, but the smile died instantly. When she opened the door, someone was inside. A dark hood, a face twisted with age and shadows. P. Before she could scream, the barrel of a gun was pressed against her stomach. "Shut up," he hissed, his voice like gravel. "Make one sound, and your child dies here and now." Amara froze, terror flooding her veins. Her lips trembled, but no sound escaped. Her eyes darted back toward the store, but P grabbed her wrist and yanked her closer. "You're coming with me," he growled. "Please," Amara whispered, her voice breaking. "Please don't hurt my baby." His eyes glowed with a madness that sent chills down her spine. "You should beg the gods, not me." And just like that, the laughter, the joy, the celebration, it all ended. P had her. The ritualist had finally struck. Chris and Uche finally stepped out of the boutique, their arms full of baby clothes and shopping bags. They were laughing about how Amara would scold them for buying too. Much when Chris suddenly paused, looking around. "Wait," he said, his eyes scanning the car park. "Where's Amara?" "She said she was just going to the car." Uche frowned, dropping the bags into the trunk of another car. "She's not here? Maybe she went to get snacks or something. You know Amara, she always craves food now." Chris shook his head, unease creeping into his voice. "No, she would have told us. And look, the car. It's gone." Both men froze. The laughter died. "What do you mean gone?" Uche asked, panic in his tone. He ran across the parking lot, looking in every direction, his heart pounding. "Amara, Amara." There was no answer. No sign of her. Chris's hands trembled as he pulled out his phone. "We need to call the police. Now. Someone has taken her." The police arrived within the hour. Reports were filed, questions asked, descriptions given. Uche paced restlessly while Chris answered with a shaking voice. "She's heavily pregnant," Chris kept repeating. "She can't just disappear. Please, you have to find her. Please." Uche slammed his fist against the hood of a car. "I should have gone with her. I should have followed her out. Damn it." The officers promised to investigate immediately, but the uncertainty was already tearing them apart. That evening, a family meeting was called at Obina's castle. The atmosphere was heavy, the air thick with sorrow. Caramel sat holding little Chioma on her lap, the child too young to fully understand, but sensing something was wrong. Obina sat weakly in his chair, his illness still gripping him, but his voice was stern. "What happened to Amara cannot be ignored. We must act quickly. She and the car were gone. I don't know if she was kidnapped. Or if," his voice cracked, and he buried his face in his hands. "I failed her." "No," Caramel said softly, her eyes red from crying. "Don't blame yourself. Whoever did this, they planned it. They knew exactly when to strike." Uche rose to his feet, anger blazing in his eyes. "We can't just sit here and hope the police solve it. This is our sister. She's carrying the first grandchild of this family. We need to use every resource we have. I'll go back to the village. I'll talk to the elders. I'll even hire private investigators. I don't care what it takes." Caramel nodded, hugging Chioma tighter. "We must also pray. This is more than just ordinary. My heart tells me there's darkness in this." Obina, who had been silent for most of the meeting, finally raised his hand. His voice was weak, but his words carried weight. Listen to me. Whoever has taken Amara is not after money. This is deeper. We must prepare for anything, and we must stay together. They were a family bound by love, but also by tragedy. And now, with Amara missing, their unity was the only thing that could hold them together. Amara's screams pierced through the silence as P dragged her across the dirt floor. She kicked, she fought, but her strength was nothing compared to his grip. With one final shove, he threw her into a dark red room that smelled of smoke, herbs, and blood. Her body hit the ground hard. She coughed and struggled to sit up, her hands bound. Please, she cried, her voice cracking. Who are you? Where am I? What's going on? Please, somebody help me. Her voice echoed back at her, bouncing off the cold, ritual-stained walls. No answer came. No mercy. P did not even look at her. He walked straight toward the oracle at the far side of the room, a shrine glowing, faintly with fire and thick smoke. His hands trembled as he raised them high. I have brought one of the 3 plates you demanded, P said hoarsely. Here she is. Give me more time, and I will bring the others. Just do not take my life. Please, I beg you. The flames at the shrine flickered violently, and then the voices came. Cold, echoing, merciless. P. Do you know who you have brought before us? The ritualist frowned, confused. She is one of the triplets. She is enough to begin the sacrifice. The voices thundered. She is not just one person. She carries a child yet unborn. 2 lives in one body. P gasped, his mouth falling open. He turned to look at Amara, who was still blindfolded, still begging for her life. The voices continued. Because of the child she carries, you do not need all 3. Bring us just one more. The woman with child, plus 1, makes 3, and then your debt will be paid. The room shook as the final words echoed. P fell to his knees in relief. His wrinkled lips curled into a smile for the first time in years. Thank you, he cried. But then the question gnawed at him. Which one? Which of the 2 brothers should he take? Chi, the businessman always surrounded by security in boardrooms? Or Uche, the wanderer, always in villages, surrounded by rowdy crowds and hidden corners? P rubbed his chin, his old eyes narrowing. Chi is too guarded, too visible. But Uche? He's always in the villages, in the midst of strangers, in places where no one would notice if I took him. Yes, Uche will be next. Uche had always been the one with a heart for the helpless. So when he came into Obina's study one evening and said he needed to go to the village, both Obina and Chi were alarmed. Brother, no. Chi insisted, leaning forward in his chair. This is a dangerous time. Whoever has taken Amara may still be out there. We cannot risk losing another one of us. Obina, pale from his sickness but still wise, shook his head slowly. Listen to your brother, Uche. The family needs you safe. But Uche's heart was restless. He explained that the motherless baby home, the orphanage he supported, was struggling. Their water supply had run dry, and the children were forced to fetch from the dirty stream. They are falling sick, he said, his voice tight with worry. If I do not act, they may die. Caramel placed a hand on his arm. Then send people. Let others handle it. Please. Uche shook his head. I have been cheated too many times. I send money, but it never reaches the children. They need me. I must go myself. And though they all begged him, Uche promised he would stay for now. He stayed, until late that night when his phone rang. Sir, please, a desperate voice cried over the line. The children are drinking from the stream again. They are weak, they are crying. There is no water left. Please, come now, or they will die. Uche's heart shattered. Without a word, he grabbed his keys. He told himself he would be quick. He told himself he would return before anyone noticed. By morning, Chi woke and found his brother's room empty. Panic set in when he checked the compound and realized the car was gone. He called Uche immediately. Brother, where are you? Chi demanded. I'm in the village. Uche replied calmly, his voice steady. Don't worry. Nothing happened to me. I'll be back soon. Chi exhaled in relief, but he didn't know the truth. The call was part of the trap. For when Uche arrived at the orphanage, he was surprised to find the children laughing, healthy, and sipping clean water from full jerry cans. His brows furrowed. What is this? Who called me? Who lied to me? The staff looked at him in confusion. No one had made the call. The children were fine. There had been no emergency. Uche's stomach sank with dread. He had been lured here. Quickly, he got back into his car and started driving home. His mind raced, trying to make sense of what had just happened. But before he reached the outskirts of the village, a truck screeched across the road, blocking his path. Men armed with guns stepped out, their faces hard. "Step out of the car," one barked. Uche's heart pounded. He raised his hands, stepping out slowly, his eyes darting around for a way to escape. But it was too late. The men surrounded him, their weapons pointed at his chest. Within moments, he was bound and shoved into the back of their truck. And so, Uche was dragged into the back of the truck, his hands bound, his cries swallowed by the night. The armed men sped off into the forest, carrying him straight into the hands of Nkpi, the ritualist. Now the question is this: what is the fate of Uche? What is the fate of Amara, still trapped and heavily pregnant? Will Nkpi succeed in sacrificing them both? Or will the spirit of their wicked mother, the Slay Queen, Tasha, now living inside Nkpi, bring even more destruction to the triplets? Because what happens in the next part of this story will leave you shocked, so tell me in the comments. What do you think will happen to Uche and Amara? Will they survive this darkness, or has the ritualist already won? Don't forget to subscribe, like, and stay tuned for the next part. Because what's coming next will shock you more than anything you've seen so far. And if you haven't yet, make sure you check out the other videos on this channel. Amara and Uche are trapped in the ritualist's oracle chambers, with no one to help. Amara is close to labor, her strength fading. And now the rules have changed. The gods no longer demand the 3 triplets. They have given him permission to use just Amara, Uche, and her unborn child. What will their fate be? But before we continue, I must warn you, this story will break your heart before it fixes it. It comes with twists you will never see coming. If you haven't seen part 1 to part 3, stop now. Go back and watch them first. Then return. Now let's get started. Cause what you are about to watch will leave you speechless. When Chi finally returned home, his face was pale. He rushed into the sitting room where Caramel and Obina sat together. His voice shook as he spoke. "Papa, Mama Caramel, I think whoever took Amara has taken Uche as well." The words hung in the air like a thunderclap. Obina froze. His chest heaved. His lips quivered. And then, with a choked sound, he fell to his knees. His hands clutched his chest as his body trembled violently. "Papa!" Chi shouted, running to catch him. But Obina's face twisted in agony, and his speech slurred as he collapsed sideways. It was a stroke. The heartbreak was too much. First Amara, and now Uche. The weight crushed him in an instant. Caramel screamed and rushed to his side. "Obina, no, no, no. Please, God, not this too. Please." She held his head in her lap, tears flooding down her face. Chi tried to comfort her, but his own eyes were red with helpless rage. Chi held her hand tightly. "I'll find them. I swear it. Amara, Uche, whoever did this, they won't win. I'll bring them back." He called the police again, but their responses were the same. Promises, empty words, delays. The officers gave no real answers. "Investigations take time," they said. "We are doing our best." But time was the one thing the family didn't have. Meanwhile, back at the Oracle, Amara and Uche sat huddled together in the dim light. Amara clutched her swollen belly, her body weak, but her spirit still fighting. "Brother," she whispered, "we can't stay here. If we do, we're finished." Uche scanned the room, his eyes darting to a small window high on the wall. It was narrow, but it opened to the forest outside. "Look," he said urgently, pointing. "That's our way out." Amara shook her head, her face pale. "It's too small. I'll never fit through with this belly." Uche's jaw tightened as he tested the frame. His shoulders could barely squeeze through, but with force, he knew he could make it. "I can pass," he said firmly. "But you can't. Not now." Her eyes widened with fear. "No, don't leave me. Please, Uche, don't leave me here." He grabbed her hands, his voice breaking but resolute. "Listen to me. I will come back for you. I swear it. But if we both stay, they'll kill us. If I escape, I can bring help. I can save you." Amara sobbed, shaking her head. "I don't want to lose you too. What if they kill me before you return? What if—" "Stop." Uche's eyes blazed with determination. "You are my sister. You are carrying life. You must survive. Trust me, Amara. Please, let me do this." He climbed toward the small window, his body straining against the narrow space. His legs scraped, his arms bled. He looked back at her, his voice trembling. "I will come back for you. Hold on." Amara reached toward him, tears streaming down her cheeks. "Brother, please, don't fail me." And then he was gone. Alone in the red room, Amara clutched her belly, her sobs echoing against the walls. Her only hope now was that Uche would keep his promise. Uche stumbled through the darkness of the forest, branches whipping across his arms, his legs bruised from thorns and stones. He ran and ran until at last he stumbled onto a rough village road. There, he saw a stranger passing with a lantern. Desperate, Uche fell to his knees before him. "Please, please help me. I was captured. I escaped. I don't even know where I am." The stranger, startled, reached out and pulled him up. "Calm down, young man. You're safe now." With trembling hands, the stranger handed him the device. Uche dialed quickly. "Chi." He gasped the moment his brother answered. I think I know where I am, but I'm not sure. I ran through the bush. It was too dark. I couldn't see. Please come get me. Please, hurry." Chi's voice broke with emotion. "Brother, stay where you are. Don't move. I'm coming." Uche clutched the phone to his chest, tears filling his eyes. He was free, but Amara was still in the nightmare. Back at the oracle, Amara's body convulsed in pain. Her hands clutched her swollen belly as the contractions ripped through her. She screamed, her voice raw and desperate. "Somebody, please, help me. I'm in labor." Her cries echoed through the red chamber. Amara's screams filled the room as she labored on the cold floor. No midwife, no mother, no comforting hand. Just smoke, darkness, and agony. Hours passed like years. And then, a cry. The cry of new life. Amara collapsed back, trembling, holding the tiny, slippery body in her arms. Her sobs mixed with the baby's first wails. She looked at the child through her tears and whispered, "Oh God. Oh my God. It's a boy. A bouncing baby boy." Her cries grew louder. My son, born in sorrow, born in chains." She cradled him tightly, rocking him back and forth. Knowing the cruel truth, they would take him. They would take her. She would never taste the joy of motherhood. The door slammed open. P stormed back in, his face twisted with fury. You let him escape," he roared, his staff trembling in his hand. Amara gasped, clutching her newborn to her chest. What are you saying?" P raised his hand as if to strike her. "Your brother, Uche, he escaped. You distracted me. You ruined my sacrifice." His shadow loomed over her, rage burning in his eyes. Amara flinched, shielding her baby with her own body, her tears streaming. Please don't hurt me. Don't hurt my child." P's hand trembled in the air, his fury boiling, his teeth gritted. But even the gods were silent. The forest was dark, the path twisting like a serpent. Uche stumbled forward with Chi and the police close behind, their flashlights cutting through the heavy shadows. His voice shook as he pointed ahead. "This is it. This is the place. I found it when I ran." And then it appeared, a towering building hidden deep within the forest. It gleamed faintly under the moonlight, tall and luxurious, yet swallowed by wilderness. A mansion that civilization had long forgotten. The police formed a line, their guns raised, their boots crunching on the forest floor. The triplets moved behind them, their hearts hammering. Inside, P froze. His ears caught the sound of heavy footsteps drawing near. His eyes darted to the door. "They found me," he hissed. Amara lay weak on the floor, her arms clutching her newborn boy. Her voice cracked, desperate. "Please, don't take him. Don't touch my child." P's face twisted. He lunged forward, ripping the baby from her arms. Amara screamed, her voice piercing through the walls. "No, bring back my baby. Please, I beg you." But P didn't look back. He clutched the wailing infant to his chest and bolted for the back door. His steps echoed through the corridor as Amara crawled after him, sobbing, her body too weak to stand. By the time the police burst through the front, it was too late. P was gone. He had vanished into the forest like smoke, faster than any of them could track. When they reached the oracle room, they found Amara collapsed on the floor. Her hair was wild, her body weak, her face streaked with tears. She clutched at her stomach as though she still held the baby. "Amara!" She cried, rushing to her. "Amara!" Uche shouted, falling to his knees, wrapping his arms around his sister. She wailed, her voice breaking as they lifted her. They took him. They took my baby. Please, bring him back. But all they could do was hold her, their own tears flowing freely. They carried her carefully to the car. Her body was frail, trembling from hunger, exhaustion, and childbirth. Amara gasped again. My baby, my baby. She froze, turning sharply. What do you mean? Your baby? Amara, are you saying you gave birth? Her voice cracked, trembling with despair. Yes, I gave birth. I gave birth in that place. He was a boy, a bouncing baby boy, and they took him from me. The revelation hit them like thunder. Chi's eyes widened, Uche's mouth dropped open. For a moment, the whole forest seemed to hold its breath. The baby had been born, but he was gone, stolen by Nkpi, the ritualist who knew the forest better than anyone. So now, we are left with the question, what will happen next? The triplets are safe, yes. Amara is alive, yes. But her child, her son, a baby not even named, has been taken. What fate awaits him in the hands of the ritualist? Will he survive? Will he be sacrificed? Or will the family rise against the darkness and reclaim him? The answers lie ahead. Nkpi stumbled through the forest, clutching the newborn tightly against his chest. The trees loomed like watchmen, the night air thick and heavy. Every step felt heavier than the last. His breath came in ragged gasps, his old body trembling from the weight of both the child and his years. The baby's cries cut through the darkness, sharp, desperate, hungry wails. Quiet, P hissed, pressing the infant closer. But the child's cries only grew louder. Behind him, faint echoes of police whistles and distant voices carried on the wind. They were still searching. Uche and Chi had reported everything. And now the forest swarmed with men and torches. P knew the terrain well. His mansion was hidden somewhere far deeper in the wilderness, but his legs shook. His heart pounded, and for the first time, he wondered if this was the end. His knees buckled. He leaned against a tree, panting, sweat running down his wrinkled face. His vision blurred. His arms nearly gave way, the baby slipping slightly before he caught him again. I cannot, P wheezed. I'm too weak. I cannot keep going. The baby wailed louder, the sound almost mocking him. And then, the wind shifted. The fireflies disappeared. The forest fell silent. A cold mist rose from the ground, swirling around him. His eyes darted left and right, fear creeping up his spine. Nkpi. The voice was soft, yet sharp enough to freeze his blood. From the shadows, a figure emerged. A woman draped in red, her hair wild, her face twisted with the pride of evil. It was Tasha, not flesh, not living, but her spirit. Nkpi's eyes widened. His lips trembled. You're dead. I saw you die. The spirit of Tasha smirked, her eyes glowing faintly. Yes, I died. But did you think death could silence me? No. My shame, my rage, my hunger for revenge, it clings to this world. And now it clings to you. Nkpi dropped to his knees, clutching the baby tighter. I am too weak. My time is nearly gone. I cannot run anymore. Tasha's spirit glided closer, her voice echoing like a curse. Do not give up, old man. You made a deal. We made a deal. You vowed to deliver these children to the gods. Do not fail now. You will keep moving. You will not rest until this is done. The baby cried again, loud and restless. Tasha's gaze fell upon the child, her smile wicked. That child, he is mine. My blood flows in him. He carries the shame I bore, and through him, I will taste revenge. Do not forget that. Nkpi shivered, clutching the baby protectively though he served her will. But I am tired, my legs. Her voice cracked like thunder. Then crawl. Crawl if you must. But do not stop. Remember, I cannot walk the earth anymore. I cannot touch the living. But you can. You are my vessel, my hands, my will. And if you dare to fail me, Nkpi, then your soul will rot with mine in eternal fire. Nkpi's body trembled. He pressed his forehead against the dirt, terrified. I will not fail. I swear it. I will keep going. I will bring them all. Good. Then rise, ritualist. Rise and carry my curse further. Be as evil as I was in life. Be worse. And with that, her shadow swirled into the mist and vanished. Nkpi groaned as he forced himself back to his feet. His body weak, but his resolve twisted anew. He clutched the crying infant to his chest and staggered deeper into the forest. The baby wrapped in cloth beside the fire he had just lit. For the first time since his flight through the forest, he allowed himself a moment of peace. But the peace did not last. The shadows along the walls began to ripple. Smoke twisted unnaturally. Then, from the corners of the room, they appeared. 3 dwarfs, clothed in red wrappers, their bodies painted with white chalk markings, their eyes burning like coals. P froze, his heart pounding. "You have lost the woman," the first dwarf growled. "You brought only the child," the second hissed. "You promised us 3, the third boomed. "But now, you have only 1. For this failure, we must take your life." The old man's knees buckled, and he fell to the floor, trembling. "No, please," P cried, his forehead pressed to the cold ground. "Do not take my life yet. I beg you. I am 70 years old. Yes, but I still have strength." Meanwhile, at Obina's castle, sorrow had turned the grand hall into a house of mourning. Obina lay on the sickbed, his chest rising and falling weakly. The old man had survived many storms, but this one was breaking him. His eyes fluttered as though he no longer had the strength to fight. Beside him, Amara sobbed uncontrollably. Her body still fragile from childbirth, her heart shattered. My baby was taken from me," she cried, her voice raw with grief. "What did I do to deserve this pain? God, what did I do?" Her brothers, Chi and Uche, stood on either side of her, each holding one of her hands. "Don't cry, sister," Chi whispered, his own eyes wet with tears. "We will find him. We will not stop until your child is back in your arms." Uche tightened his grip on her shoulder. "You are not alone. You have us. We will fight for you. We will fight for your son." But their words, though filled with love, could not stop Amara's shaking. Her whole body trembled as she clung to them, crying into their chests. In one room, a father battled death. In another, a mother mourned her stolen child. And outside, the gods themselves whispered judgment over Nkpi's soul. The story was far from over. Back in the forest, the policemen had been searching for hours. Their boots sank into mud, their torches flickered, their voices grew tired. One of them finally stopped, wiping sweat from his forehead. "Officer, this forest is too deep," he muttered. "We've gone round and round. If he's here, he knows the paths better than us. We are wasting our strength." Another sighed, frustration in his tone. "We can't keep searching blind. We'll regroup tomorrow with better trackers. For now, we return." The team leader frowned, glancing back toward Chi and Uche. "We've done our best tonight. But the ritualist, he knows these woods. He's hiding where no man can easily find him." And just like that, the policemen turned back, their footsteps fading into the night, leaving the siblings in a heavy silence. Meanwhile, inside the red room of the oracle, P knelt trembling before the shrine. The newborn cried in his arms, its wails echoing like a curse. His voice shook as he raised the child high. "Great ones, gods of fire and blood, I have failed you before, but now I beg you. Take this child. Accept him as the sacrifice. Spare my life." The flames flared as he placed the baby on the altar, his old hands quivering. "I give him to you. Do not let me die yet. Take the boy. Accept him in place of the 3. The baby's cries grew louder, as though the child himself rejected the fate placed upon him. Far away, Uche and Amara huddled in the corner of their prison. Her face was pale, her body still weak from childbirth. But her eyes met his when he suddenly straightened up, a thought flashing through his mind. "Sister," Uche whispered sharply, "do you remember when you told me the ritualist said the gods needed 3 of us?" Amara blinked, confused. "Yes. He said 3 from our bloodline." "What?" Uche smiled for the first time in days, a spark of hope in his eyes. He leaned close, whispering fiercely, "Don't you see? That means he cannot hurt your baby. No matter how much he begs them, the gods will not accept the child alone. He needs us, all 3, not just him. The baby is safe for now." Amara's mouth fell open. The realization hit her like lightning. "Oh my God, you're right. He can't kill my child. He can't." Her tears flowed again, but this time with something more than grief. With fire. With hope. "We can fight him, Uche," she whispered. "We can attack him while he's distracted at the altar. We can take my baby back." Uche nodded, determination blazing in his eyes. "Exactly. This is our chance. We don't wait anymore. We fight." And so, as Nkpi begged the gods to take the newborn, the triplets began to plan their strike. with Amara, Uche, and Chi preparing to enter the deepest part of the forest, and the ritualist, P, standing before the oracle with powers beyond the natural. The question is, can they really survive this battle? Because this fight is not with fists. It is not with guns. It is a battle of spirit, a war of destiny. Will the triplets win back their blood? Will Amara hold her baby again? Or will the gods claim them all? The answers are yet to come. So don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video with your friends, and keep watching the other stories on this channel, because the next part will shock you more than everything you've seen so far.